look, if I'm really being like this is the problem with me now. Like I'd say like if I had to, I couldn't really separate my top three.
See,
Um,
I know you. I know you're
also
not.
like
You
yeah,
you like you're a man for the double acts and the like the classic BBC kind of style as well. So I'll
mm,
give you. I'll give you three. I'll give you three kind of categories to work within.
okay, yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
classic stand up.
Mm,
One performer, one microphone. Um, comedic performer. Take with that what you will,
good,
and
okay.
then So we have classic stand up, comedic performer, and just funniest overall funniest, and that could just be a dry reading of a news report you saw. It doesn't necessarily need to be an actual performer.
Right, I'm with you now. Just someone who makes me objectively like laugh,
Yeah.
like the more I see him. Yeah, 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 okay. Okay, right. I'll start off with the last one then. So the overall, who I think is the funniest outright, Robin Williams.
Alright.
I think objectively, like I think again, it's that kind of that old tenet of like, give him a phone book and he'll make it funny. I think
Yep.
Robin Williams is that type of comedian. I
Yep.
think overall, when it comes to a comedic performer, now I'm gonna
Mm.
find it a little bit hard
That has
to
a
pin down.
that has a bell curve to it. I will give you
Yeah,
that. I'll happily open up the books to five on that one because that
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I
that's
suppose I think who's the best stand-up comedian.
mm,
I think Billy Connolly is the gold standard for stand-up, personally.
yeah.
Like I think
Yeah,
some of his
I'll go to Billy a lot myself now. I will be
yeah,
honest.
but I think it's not even like again like it's that kind of thing where like I would agree that he is the best at it. Whereas like it's all but at the same time I will my go-to could be someone else potentially. You know, kind
Yeah.
of way like I do actually have a tenant for a penchant for dark humor. But it's like a kind of like it's a way like a kind of like I'll pop it open every now and then. It's like whenever my brain wants a little bit of macabre. So that's where I'd have for instance, the last time gig I went to was Frankie Boyle, for example.
Yeah.
And so that would be that like it's a case where like, okay, I'm in a safe zone here where I'm able to
Mm.
laugh at the most horrible jokes. And that's
Yeah.
the whole point. The fact like this is a horrible joke. We know this is. That's why we're
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
saying, kind of way. Um but overall comedian thing like again watching a lot of Taskmaster recently as well, and like a few kind of names pop up there as
Yeah.
well. Who's just like
See.
yeah,
I'd like to see Taskmaster would liken me to comedic performance
yes.
as opposed to like legit just stand up material microphone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
Um.
Um, but yeah, there's a couple there.
Oh,
Darryl
there's
Breen
a
kind of flickers in between there, to be honest. He's in the
yeah.
those two categories for me, where I think like again he's such a versatile comedian in a sense where like he normally unfortunately is kind of typecasted to be the host.
Mm.
Plot twist: there's two masked men. It's plural. They've multiplied.
Oh my God! It's Darragh O'Brien and Ed Byrne.
Again, famously a great double act. Like they're a phenomenal double act. Um, but yeah, again, comedians are that kind. It is a kind of thing where like it's whatever makes you laugh in a sense, and everyone's kind of sense of humor is different.
Fucking
And
trying to. I find more intrigue in what makes people laugh and
yeah,
who they allow let them laugh as well. Because I've seen people go, that person's great, and I'm like, but that other person does the exact same type of comedy. Why don't you like
yeah.
them? Mm,
Actually, okay. Do you know what? Actually, I can nail down what a comedic performer is just based off all the works he does as Steve Coogan.
yeah, yeah, it's
Like
very
I
good.
see Coogan, I think is that for me because like again, I enjoy my impressionism sometimes. I enjoy a good satire. I enjoy a good spoof, and I've just recently seen him like play and the Doctor Strangelove play, and he was absolutely fantastic. Like he was generally really fucking good. It's like that's not only can I applaud him for being objectively a funny guy, but he's also a phenomenally versatile performer. Like you can put him
Mm,
in various different kind of like environments, and he still knocks it out of the park. So not only is he a good comedian, he's also a very good actor, a writer, an entertainer. Like
yeah.
that's it's very hard to get that kind of like to have a kind of
You're distinctly like British Isles, British and Ireland Isles. You
yeah,
tend not to
I absorbed a lot of. That's because I absorbed a lot of like
cross
comedy
over.
shows when I was in my formative years. Like
Mm,
I was well bent into Mock the Week, and then that went into a QI rabbit hole. Then went into sketches. So like There was a point where watching exclusively Monty Python, then Fry and Laurie, Mitchell and Webb, and then later on, eventually after many many years, Hale and Pace. So like they all these different ones, like I kind of dipped into some other ones as well, but but here's the thing: this is how times change in a sense. I couldn't do a sketch show now in a sense, unless it's something I've watched before. I'm just completely that receptor has been just burnt out by just watching so much.
Yeah,
In such
the
short
form,
time.
the form is that. I mean, like, I liked like there's. I only was quoting fucking Key and Peele the other day, but like,
Yeah.
Gillian Keeves are very good. Shane Gillis is
Mm,
fucking phenomenal.
yeah. I don't know
But
what it is
again,
about
if you
American
don't,
comedy that I just can't
yeah,
fucking bite into it. The only
there's
crowd I'm able to actually watch, like American wise, that I'm able to watch and they actually get me is Dropouts.
yeah,
With just various kind of crew. But you know what? But they're not TV comedians. Like I know they do little
mm,
spots for like John Oliver and stuff like that, but that's because they're in the same sphere as them, just with the location and stuff. And I think what's his name, Adam or something like that. He writes on the crew as well. Or he's
yeah,
not Adam. He was in College Humor. I can see his face, but I don't know his name. But
yeah.
he's on the writing staff
Adam,
of
yeah, is Adam
it.
ruins everything was his
It is Adam.
his
It is
name.
Adam, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So.
I adore Dropout. I saw someone say something, which is
Mm,
funnily makes a lot of sense that you've said it. Is Dropout just a is it just British panel comedy?
yes.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Essentially, is.
very, very British leaning. We're all here to have a laugh together.
Yeah.
Very much a band of misfits as opposed to people one upping each other. Um,
So when you were telling, uh, there you go. So whose line? Like here, just nailed
who's
on the
lying?
head.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
The origin that was the origin point. But like,
Mm,
whose line? The format did not change between the UK and the US.
mm.
It just made one slight change and propelled the show itself into the stratosphere. Because like in the UK, it is very strictly a thespian show. In a sense, if you watch it back, it is very very dry, but very fucking witty. It's a very smart show because like you're asking these actual genuine Shakespearean actors like fucking I don't know like freaking like Peter fucking Sutcliffe will come on or uh Stephen Fry, John Sessions, actual actors, actual actors going like, oh, I want you to do the scene like this particular poet or this novelist. It was like, what the fuck? It was like, I'm gonna do this one as Alfred Tennyson. It's like, cool. I don't know if it's gonna be funny or not, but it's certainly a thing you've just done. You
We'll
know,
give it a shot.
we'll give it a shot. But then
Like,
when they got the American, there was these few years where then Who's Line kind of clicked with it being still quite highbrow, but also still being very very funny. And that's when they kind of make when they had like Tony Slattery in then, who was in the early run of Who's Line, the village idiot who didn't know
yeah,
anything about poetry or novels. He was just massive like fucking drug fiend that was just being chaotic, you know. But then when all the Americans came over, like said like Styles and Mockery and all these other like Sherwood and all these other people, Slattery fits in perfectly then because he's matched the same manic energy.
yeah,
So
he is.
then, what did he have to? What after that? Then all they have to do is just bring it to the states with a host that is more involved in the production, which was Drew Carey, and then you put it into like a ridiculous American like audience that just roots for everything.
Yeah.
And the show was a fucking hit. They didn't change anything with it. You know,
It was
there's no change in the prompts, no change in the
such a
music, no change
such a
around.
weird it's such a weird idea that it was honed by a UK audience.
Yeah.
And not to say it was watered down, but it was certainly reframed, but only based on the fact that it was such an intellectualized version. It's so hard
Mm.
to go the other way.
Yeah.
To take something that's quite silly and intellectualize it never really works. That's why you see some shows don't cross over as well.
Well,
But it's
I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring up that point because Charlie Brooker had done I went down a Charlie Brooker rabbit hole a long time ago and I don't think I ever really left, to be honest, because I think most of my kind of like actual humor is based off like the way he structures everything. But he did like an American version. He did like his Screenwright special, and he did one in the States. By his own volition, he said, "Okay, I saved up some extra money in the budget, and I asked BBC4 if they'd fund me to go to the States, so I did." And it was basically a case like, "Okay, I want to try to like basically do an American version Screenwright and show how like American TV basically ruins everything." So it's
Yeah.
like the networks do it this way, all their soaps are awful, doing all these like, different kind of studies. But one thing he did was he kind of did a few bits with Lewis Black, who's
Mm.
kind of
No.
a famous comedy writer in the States. And one of the kind of things he mentioned was, was quite really, really interesting, is that he believed, Lewis Black did, that the kind of era of the sitcom and the era of kind of just general kind of comedy show is going to die out, and panel shows will take over the States.
Mm.
And because they'll always look at what happens in England and go, okay, if the British can do it, we can do it. Because all a panel show is just two desks and six comedians.
Yeah.
Like, when you think about it, Have I Got News for You is the most is the cheapest fucking comedy you can do, because all you need is a bit of graphics and book the talent, and that's it.
Bit of research, read the
Yeah,
newspapers. That's it.
exactly.
Send mock the week.
Yeah,
There's
even
I think
cheaper. Like,
I think it's called After Midnight. Taylor Tomlinson
yeah.
has a great panel show now.
Mm,
And it's very much in that it's like a mixture between pointless and it's just a general just kind of panel show, but
yeah.
everyone's there just to they really have adopted that. Okay, you be funny in the way that we booked you to be funny now.
Yeah. And I think that's the part of it as well. I think like I think the reason why American comedy doesn't really hit my receptor is that Americans can't really help but over egg their jokes. Like, everything does
Mm.
have to be like, like American comedy is overall afraid that you miss the punchline. You know, the kind of way, like, there's a kind of like, it's like, I know where the joke was coming from. I know where you're going to it. And like, even like, I think some of the best SNL skits are when the actual punchline is reoccurring. But SNL kind of knows that. That's why like the cowbell sketch is fucking brilliant, because it is just the same joke over and over again. But the real
There
joke is
was
walking at and is like just completely ruining the scene. Dear Sister, actually, I think is personally one of the best sketches ever made. But it's the same punchline over and over again. It's just the way the lads sell it. You know what I mean? Like,
like I could do me fucking reading on comedy, and I see British comedy
hmm,
and essentially a little bit of Irish comedy is about ists,
yeah,
classist. It's all about what is ist, and American comedy is about isms.
hmm, interesting, yeah,
Whereas one you can leave. You can leave you can change your class. You can't change your ism
hmm,
technically. But ultimately, there's no monetary gain in. You're kind of stuck with what you've got, and then
yeah,
there's a certain amount of entrapment and entrenchment in it that like you see a lot of it now, and it's fucking mental to see.
hmm,
Crowd work is prominent. Crowd work. You may as well just fucking stay at home. But like
yeah,
everything I fucking look at loads of fucking comedy and stand up, right? Crowd work is equally the best fucking thing I've ever seen, and what the fuck is going on here? But
yeah,
the good ones connect with people on a human level, and they get to know them, and it's lovely little interaction and banter and all of that. And the other ones are just like, you're black, you're gay, you're Jewish, you're
hmm,
fucking Pakistani, you're fucking this, you're that, and here's a racist statement. And
yeah,
now everyone laughs, and now we move on. It's like the only difference is it's a hate crime if they don't laugh. There's no
hmm,
inherent risk in British comedy
yeah,
because you can't go to jail by going, you objectively don't have as much money as me.
hmm,
I've been to, and there's something about if you go to a private school in Britain, you are guaranteed to be seen a certain way. Whereas
yeah,
if you go to a private school in America, it still matters what you are.
hmm.
Doesn't matter if you're privately educated, you still get stuck with the ism.
Yeah, it's not, that's not the class indicator there. It's like,
Mm.
in America, it's still like what you actually are, like
Yeah.
what you're
But it's
defined as. Like,
and
yeah,
it's what you are, and that's what will tell you you are. And it's a little
hmm,
bit of the, it's a little bit. Do you ever hear the broken window theory? That if you're in an area, you walk around an area and there's no windows broken, the likelihood of there being no windows broken will be prominent, versus if you see one window broken, you wait a month and there'll be 2 windows broken, you wait another month, there'll be 3 windows broken. There's a lot of that in American comedy where you get reinforced, like, stereotypes are there to help people. No. You're reinforcing stereotypes because you're reinforcing stereotypes.
Hmm.
And there's some people who subvert them and who try against them and who work with them. But
Yeah.
the most prominent, well-known, and apparently goated stand-up comedians of all time play to type because that's just their system.
Mm-hmm.
You look at an American comedian, and if I was to perform comedy in America and I didn't make a Tura Laura joke, I'd be shot.
Yeah.
Just it doesn't work.
Mm.
But British stuff tends to play against type. Fucking Bill Hicks fucking got over more in the UK than he ever did in America because
Bill Hicks is a very British comedian. Yeah, like that's the thing.
That's
Like
exactly
his
it.
style is like he's not funny in American circles because what he's like they're not jokes. That's just like really harsh and very true observations. And observation comedy is the best in Britain. In Britain.
He's not even that inherently funny, but he's clever.
Yeah.
And clever wins most of the time. You said Fry and Laurie. Fucking adore Fry and Laurie. The wit and parlance that the two of them are able to fucking muster in any fucking single performance is jaw-dropping versus a Key and Peele. You put Fry and Laurie versus Key and Peele, glaring fucking similarities aside. But you can just see that there's such a different rhythm to it.
Two different sides of comedy, but both still very, very funny in their own right. Yeah, but like I said, it's the same. The comedy comes in all shapes and sizes. Like there's no like kind of like real route one to funny type of thing. It's also a generational thing as well. You know.
Could you imagine, Mark Maron? Heyo. Could you imagine the dead parrot sketch being done by an American? You just don't get that single camera corner shop. Everything in American comedy is always cut to one side.
Yeah.
You never get to see the long shot.
Never.
You'll never see a corner store, a bodega. They never have. It's always you're here, I'm here, you're here, I'm here. Versus British. I kind of have we cracked it. British comedy is side on. British comedy is a side scroller. American comedy is Grand Theft Auto. It's 3D. It's Super Mario 64 versus Super Mario on the SNES.
I think Brian, I think you're almost got it, because it just kind of tweeted you there. The way British comedy is side on is because it's theatre. It goes back to the Deafening roots.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing the performer side on because you're the audience watching the play, whereas that piece of the evolution got skipped in America because like they basically went to television first more than anything else. So television, they're going, okay, we can put the audience wherever we want in the show. I can
tie your brainstorm in again. American comedy was born out of vaudeville, which was front facing, and British comedy was born out of the town halls, which was side on.
Yeah, there you go. That solves that thing.
Both were comedy was born in front of the curtain.
Yeah.
But the difference being it's a fucking really fucking terrible joke. The Brits weren't afraid to turn their fucking back on the audience. Which is fucking true, given that it came out of fucking vaudeville. You wanted to make sure you saw the fuckers. Fucking John Wilkes fucking Bootle fucking test of that. But this side on versus front facing is fascinating. But you get a lot more, especially with the likes of Dropout. You see more of that. What the fuck? Would never saw Batista do that before in my life. But you can, oddly enough, pro wrestling side on.
There you go. But again, pro wrestling is a carnival act. It's a theater. It is in itself a theater. But no, you see,
There's
that's what I think. Dropout like is not you see because Dropout is not a network thing. They don't have to listen to fucking like middle-aged fucking TV producers going, "This is not how we do things over here." It's like I don't give a fuck. Like just
apart from Sam Wright, she's running it, but yeah.
yeah, but even then, like, but like but he's not like like indoctored in the
Oh,
fucking in the
I adore
HBO
him.
way or whatever.
No,
Kind of
I adore him. I adore him so much. I have a
yeah,
I have a very strong parasocial relationship with a lot of performers in Dropout. I personally adore them.
yeah,
Like I'll watch certain episodes of like Make Some Noise, and I'd be like, I don't know them. I'm not gonna watch that. Oh, the Noise Boys are on.
yeah,
Hooray! And
yeah, yeah.
it's fascinating how they done it. But I've kind of dropped. I'm not pardoning my pun, but I've dropped out a lot of their D&D content, and I'm really more interested in Game Changer and Make Some Noise at the moment.
Mhm.
But that's what got me into it originally was the D&D
Yeah,
stuff. It was such a weird fucking. We'll have yous all.
yeah.
We'll bring us all in. Come on in, all the shapes and sizes and colours, and get on the flag, will you? Not a bother. Which is the
Mm.
glorious thing about Dropout. It is the most welcoming of productions I have ever
Yeah.
seen. I've literally seen performers transition on camera.
Yeah, I
It's
was about
been
to say because Ali Bearsley is a perfect
exactly.
example of that.
Nah, he's a man who knows.
Yeah.
This
Like,
episode is
I
sponsored
was
by
like I said,
Drop.
we've blitzed through Game Changer there in the last few weeks, and literally like every year, Ali is just ever so slightly
Yeah,
more
yeah.
more transitions. Like holy fuck, like that's it's
Ever so
unreal how
slightly,
it's changed.
and you go from the college humor sketches to
Yeah,
now.
even then, yeah.
But it's there's something in. Did you see the live D&D shows? Time Quangle.
No, not yet. No,
How knowledgeable are you about their D&D universe?
I literally like only that it exists. I haven't actually watched anything at all of it. So it's all new content to me there. So.
Oh. The Ned Flanders girly scream. Oh, I cannot wait. I
Yeah.
cannot wait. I
But that's the thing,
cannot
like
fucking
again,
wait.
like going back to that whole point, like, but they're not tied down to the American formula because they're not inherently an American production. Like, of course, obviously they're in California and stuff like that, but California, you'd say, is such a there's so much cross pollination there between people coming over to write for different reasons and stuff like that, and also like a lot of like Europe, like productions made for Europe are can be made stateside now as well. Kind of way. It doesn't have to be the fact like, well, this is what American artists like. It's like that's grand if they like
You
that,
know,
then they take
it
but
is
that's the content we
definitely
want to make.
it's definitely the era of narrow casting, which is the
Yeah.
complete opposite of what I learned.
Mm.
Narrow casting is the way, niche is the way, and you
Yes.
will get a regular to use a wrestling fucking terminology, you'll get a regular audience of 100 odd thousand,